So let's get into splining. We can just take our set members right here and select everything and press D for default, or press this button which does the same. So, and now if you would play, everything is smoothed out by Maya. As you can see, some things are pretty wonky, and that's for us to clean right now. Before we're going to start cleaning, we can put everything in a loop. We can do this by selecting everything, going to curves, post infinity, cycle. And you can see suddenly these curves continue after the gray part. If you would now put, for example, 100 here, you can see Michaela keeps walking. That's because it's an infinite cycle of our animation. And you can do the same for pre-infinity and cycle, and now suddenly there's a values right here as well. And you can go backwards into time. This will help us later on. So next up is putting in offset. We don't want everything to keep happening at the same time, so we're going to offset certain controllers. And we're going to start offsetting from the chest and then upwards. So for example, we can take the chest controls and then select everything and move everything to 2 frames for now. And then we can take the head and let's offset this 3 frames. So this already looks a bit smoother. Now we can do the same with the shoulders and the arms. So what I would recommend is giving the shoulders and the upper arm the same as the chest. So 2 frames. And everything below it 1 more. So let's select all of them. Move them once to the side. Deselect the elbows and give the wrist 1 more offset. If I would play now, this already looks a lot better since nothing is happening at the same time. Well, not everything is happening at the same time, that's what I mean. So, yeah, let's also disable everything we don't need. Okay. So let's first start cleaning up and putting some more work into the feet to fix this weird stopping motion and starting motions. This means our graphs are not cleaned yet. So we're always working from the bottom to the top like we did in the beginning. So we're going to look for the feet and then for the pelvis and then doing the upper body. First thing you can do is adjust the spacing of the translate C. In the sliding motion, everything should be linear until our foot comes off the ground. So after 16, foot is coming off the ground, and here it's a bit messy, but we're looking for some linear movement. So what we will do is just delete these keys and put these 2 on linear. Well, let's put this one on linear, and here we can break this one by right-clicking, break tangents, and now we can just manipulate this one until it's a straight line, like so. Or another way to do it is breaking them, then changing them to weighted tangents, like we saw in the bouncing ball video, and just scale it completely. And now we are certain it's perfectly straight. And here we can clean this a little bit up so it's a cleaner arc, because now it's up, down, up. So let's clean this up like so. Now we have already a much better and smoother leg movement. We have some knee popping, it seems, but we can fix that later on. So nothing to worry about yet. And next up is changing the foot roll, because now it takes us 4 frames until our foot is completely on the ground, but it actually should only take 1 frame. So what we're going to do is scroll to our foot roll, take this key on 4 and copy it to frame 2. We press D to smoothen it out, and to smooth the animation we can actually put in some toe movement on number 2, so on frame number 2, and then make it 0 again on 3. So now there's a small offset right here. You can even already put it here. And this movement is something that we have to create at the end as well. So we made a value here at the beginning, so we need to make sure it's at the end as well. 22, it's going to start to make the toe movement, but it can actually happen one frame before that. Put this down, and then the moment the foot flips, the animation of the toe bend starts. As you can see, there's some weird shape happening right here in the infinite cycle. That's because our handles are not aiming to the correct point, so they need to align for the next frame, which is this one again. So we can just align our tangents, and now we have a smooth line, and this will help our cycle and not break the cycle. It will keep it smooth. So now I have to do the same thing for the other foot. So going back in here again, and this one is a little bit different because our foot placement is on 13, so everything that's sliding is after 13, but the sliding continues until frame 4. So we just again delete these ones, make this linear, break this one, make it weighted and scale it back. And then here we have to do the same thing. So here we can move it in the same line and make this one linear as well by breaking first and scaling this one. Now it's up to us to make sure it's the same, it's within the same angle. Here as well. Might be easier just to do it manually, it seems. So same thing here, try to match it. Okay, and then here we can also make sure the curve is a bit nicer, like so. Okay, that's nice. So we have cleaned up this. This looks already pretty nice. So we can leave the translate while it is. And now we have to make the toe animation and the foot roll as well right here. So let's look for our foot roll. Oh, I was on the wrong controller. Okay, so let's look for our foot roll. Here it's on 13, obviously, and we want it to be 0 at 14. And we're going to introduce a small toe animation, like so. We put this one here, so it has one extra frame. And then here it should be flat again. So same thing like you did here, with one frame and it's down. It should be the same as here. One frame and down. Like so. Right then. This should be here. So it starts frame 12, then we're going down. Okay. now we have our feet working a lot smoother now, as you can see. It's time for us to look at the pelvis. So our translate. Let's first off already fix our endings, so cleaning up our endings. So that's already going to move a bit smoother. Okay, and then we can push these values a little higher. So just like in our bouncing ball video, that's also, we want these, we want our character to be a little longer up and then fall down. So that's what we're trying to achieve, but in a less harsh way than in the ball video. Since we're still human, we can break our fall, so we don't need to have sharp keys right here. And then we also animated the rotation. Why? And as you can see, here is where things are getting a bit weird. So at frame 10, it's completely the same as frame 7, and same thing for 19 and 20. While we actually just need a smooth arcs, some smooth arcs or smooth curves. So we can just delete them for now. It is frame 13. It is 16, so this is our down. So this is going to be the lowest point. So actually, we did not create. Oh yeah, okay. We're doing rotate right. Right. So we can just focus on 13, and we can just focus on our contact poses. I mean, so we can actually. Now we should be focusing on our really extreme, so this should be a little bit higher as well, and then 16 is a little bit lower, that's already correct. So we can delete these in-betweens for now, and then fix this curve. So now I made a change, and fix this one as well. Alright, then we can put in back our 7. Okay, so we can add in our 7 and our 19, which are our passing positions, and try to put them a bit closer to the extreme points, so, which is here. And then we can actually put in 22 as well, and put it bit higher, like so, and just tweak this again. All right. This one is fine as well. You can even do this cleaner, translate y, by using the weighted ball method, by just doing this. Alright, so we have our rotations, and here as well our rotate x is extreme, then nothing, extreme again, and nothing. Our first frame and our last frame should be the same, so it should be building up to each other. So we can just delete these ones and then start fixing these. So this is frame 4. This is 16. Even work on this one, so it's a bit more logical. A nicer curve somewhere around here. And then the same thing for our rotate Z. So our rotate C is this movement, and we'll clean this up as well. So our extremes should be on 7 and on 19. Sorry, it was incorrect. So our extremes are our contact poses for now. So we should be hitting this one. 7 is our extreme low, goes up, and then we're going down for 16. And then 19 can be here. So now we have a cleaner. And 22 can be deleted as well. So we're now leaning left, leaning right, it should be the opposite. That's why I'm so confused. I was so confused for a second, but there it looks better. Seven should be the extreme. Can leave these for now. Then 19 should be an extreme as well. Oh. Okay, and then we're going to have a look here in the hips. Here we can see the same thing in the rotate C, so we can just make the same movement here. So we're going down, and going up again at 19, here at 7, the lowest point. And we can have a look if it's enough. We can have a look at if enough movement in our C, and which is fine. Right now I'm going to give it a small ease in, so it's going to be ease out, so it's going to be a bit higher, and ease in as well. And then the same here, so it's going to be a bit lower. Can click this key right here, so we have more extreme more slow animation in the extreme positions, and then a fast change. Another one here is our rotation in the Y. As you can see, we have some cleaning up here to do as well. So what we're aiming for with our Y rotation is that it's a smooth rotation. So we can just remove these keys. Now it's already a smooth arc, and clean up the ends of the curves, like so. And then we have our rotate X that we need to clean. We can push the higher as well. Push the extremes a bit higher, I meant. Here we can clearly see our X, our beginning and end value is not the same. So let's just copy the value from frame 1 to frame 25, and then start to fix this at the end. Okay, so let me actually Control Z that and show you how it looks like. So as you can see, it's a straight line down at the end. And here as well, straight line down. Well, from up to down. So that means the values were not exactly the same. So if you see those kinds of things, it's important that you fix them immediately. Like so. You can push them a little bit more in the extremes. So now you have a really smooth hip bouncing around. So we did the feet, we did the pelvis. So next up is the chest. So here we see our chest, and you can see there are no keyframes here in the beginning, and there are no frames here at the end. So that's why I set to create these offsets in the pre-infinity and in post-infinity. So we can just press S here, and we have the values And we can do the same here at 25. And we can delete those keys at the end. And now we have the values in the offsetted manner, which is really nice, so we don't have to guess, like if you would go to spline too early and offset them too soon. Now we can easily just work with these values. So let's clean these up. We don't need these keys. And we can just, since it's an upper movement, so this is our small stretch, we can here as well just work with the weighted tangents. Just like the ball. Just make it a bit wider at the top. And then we can ease this one a bit better. Want me to break this one. And try to make it as smooth as possible in a transition. Now it's all about tweaking those. Alright, so we also have a rotation in the Y that we need to clean. So you can clearly see what our extremes are at this point. It's 15 and 3, so you can just delete these ones, match them up like so. So now we have a nice curve. Value-wise, this makes a bit more sense. Then we have our rotate Z that we created. Same thing, so deleted the things, the keys you don't really need anymore. Like so, and then just match them to each other. And we can make this a little bit weighted as well. Same thing for our rotate X. You can see it's already a pretty clean curve, so we can just push for the extremes, which in this case are on the bottom. So let's see. This is our leaning forward that we're adjusting. It's better for us to choose a little bit more the downwards position right here. So let's also change those things so everything matches a bit. Okay, I think we got all the curves now. Okay, so now we did our chests, and now we can move up to our head. So we did some Y movements on the head. So in the beginning already clean these ones. Oh, we haven't set our keyframes yet, so on 1 press S, on 25 press S as well. And you can delete these ones that you don't need anymore. And let's prioritize the up movement, so like so, and then the same thing here. So now it's a bit of a repetitive thing to do, but it's important that we do it. So here we can clean these keys and then make sure they match. Like so. And the rotate C, same thing. This button reframes your graphs. It's a bit bigger, it's easier to work in it. Okay. So now we can play again. It's already a lot smoother. There's still some weird things going on in the lower body, but that's completely fine. That's normal. It's because we still have to check for knee popping, but we will look into that later after that we made some offsets in the arms. These are arm animation. That's the same thing for all of the arms and wrists. Just select all of them. Press S at frame 1 and S at 25 and delete the ones you don't need anymore. And then let's have a look to clean them up and match them. Same thing here. Okay, and then our wrist is the same for now, so we'll jump into that later. Oh, and also our shoulder needs to have taken a look at. So same thing, go to 1, press S, 25, press S, and delete the ones you don't need anymore, and then match them up. It's pretty repetitive, so I suppose it's gonna be sped up. Alright, so now we have cleaned up the animation there. So let's put in some overlap in our arms. So we know we are reaching the furthest distance here, then our arm is going to go back to the other way. Well, we can go in 2 frames later and pull up. The same thing we can do at the other end of the spectrum. The moment that we're going to go back, we just take 2 frames and then add a bit of this. Now we can already feel some extra motion, and we can do the same thing for the wrist as well. So we take 2 frames and we do this. And on the other side of the spectrum, 2 frames and we do this. Now we can see it's a pretty smooth arm. We can maybe go a bit harder on the front part. Maybe add some key here as well. Right, and let's do the same thing for the other arm as well. So just take 2 frames and then put it up. Same thing here, 2 frames. Overstretch it a little bit or extra stretch it. You can add some more if you want to. Just about getting this feeling of overlap and follow through. Same thing here. can feel it's pretty loose hands. Let's put it on 24 so we can see the full loop. Oh. Alright, let's go in and clean up the legs a bit more.